Welcome back, y'all. We back. And now we in the upside down. We in a place where broken dreams go to, I don't know, to play and never resurface.
Okay.
We're back to the interesting thing that happened in Perfect Acres Inc. by Barbara Brooks Wallace. We're gonna throw Oreo Jr. back here. And we're gonna continue this book because we're trying to get this done so we get to that point. Horror thriller. I really got some fun things for y'all. Okay, let's keep going though. To be truthful, a large number of people swarming in the street had become princes and princesses, period. Clowns and cowboys, okay. Acrobats and dancers, as well as almost every kind of character imaginable. There was even knights in shining armors, 5 of them to be exact, making their way down the street in a confused and disorderly manner. Yeah, because what the hell are they doing in the modern time? Oh, Bokens, my sword is missing. Have you got it, Feasel? Rang out a weird muffled voice, which echoed hollowly from inside one of the suits of armor. Oh my god. Oh my god, y'all. Is anybody else thinking? We got a raggedy knight in shining armor because you know these people are not smart, honey. Okay. Oh my gosh, not these 5 fools. I thought Puddle had it. No, he gave it to Puddle. Well, I gave it to Piffle. I would have left. Is anybody else thinking? Let's get the damn covers of the nights. Even though we don't need them, we're in no danger. We're in danger of stupidity being contagious. Help. And you can't have it, peoples, unless you give me back my dagger. Oh, give it to him for goodness sake, said Fizzle. Then I suggest we get it on with the business of rescuing a princess or plain old maiden fair who needed to be rescued so we can have our dinner. I'm getting hungry. So just say you did and just pretend like, no, we are definitely in the upside down right now. Splendid idea. Dinner. To horse, shouted Puddle. But don't you remember we misplaced our horses? Mm-hmm.
Can't remember where you leave the horse.
Or just go somewhere. Just don't be here. Don't be in this story. Just go away. Just take your stupid over there. Okay. Well then, charge, roared Fizzle. Weighed down by their heavy armor, the 5 knights staggered off like the dusties they are. They discovered almost immediately, however, that it wasn't easy to choose just one of all the dozens of princesses and maidens fair wandering about. A task made more difficult by the fact that not one looked as if she wanted to be rescued anyway. In the end, the knights in shining armor voted to form a committee, break for dinner, and then decide what to do. Is anybody else thinking it ain't the princesses or maidens that need to be saved? It's these 5? I know. At this point, Perfecta's attention turned to the other Perfect Acres people, especially to the ones who surprised her the very most, her mother and father. I'm going to take a pause for the cause. Has anybody else ever asked their parents like what their dreams were if they didn't have to do the things they had to do for like the family or for society or whatever? And then have you ever asked yourself what would you do? Like have y'all ever seen Office Space where I think it was the therapist or the neighbor was like, what would you do if you won $1 million? And Peter was like, nothing. But what would you do if you guys won $1 million? Put it in the comment section. Like, or I guess today it would be 1 billion because I mean, 1 million ain't nothing no more. So what would y'all do if y'all won $1 billion? What would you do if you did not have to work and you just do whatever you want? What would you do? Put it in the comment section. Neither was dressed in an extraordinary way. They looked about the way they usually did. Mr. Jones, however, was thumping cheerfully away on a shiny set of red drums. Okay, period. You want to be a drummer. Perfecta's own father, who had shushed and hushed her from the moment she was born. She wasn't even allowed to play her toy record player unless it was so low she could hardly hear it. Oh, here we go with them words. Nam bombs. The noise is absolutely not allowed by old Mr. Snoot rule. But what was most curious about Mr. Jones was that his other hand was rocking a white wicker cradle. On the opposite side of the cradle sat Mrs. Jones, scribbling away in a gigantic blue notebook. A large sheet of notepaper lay at her side, and on it Perfecta could just make out the words, "The most beautiful goblin, a fairy tale for children." Oh, her mama wanted to write fairy tale books, but then she had her dreams crushed by Mr. Snoop, and now she got to crush her child's dream. That's sad, isn't it, Scott? It's sad, y'all, isn't it? This was Perfecta's very own mother, who had nervously snatched from Perfecta's hand more than once on more than one occasion a book not approved by Mr. Snoot, a book with just such a title as this one. Mrs. Jones' other hand was occupied as well in rocking the cradle. And in that white cradle, clearly not at all disturbed by the sound of the drums, lay a sleeping baby that looked in every way like a baby Perfecta. So they did want her. Perfecta stood there absolutely still, watching. She was almost afraid to breathe for fear of having the whole scene go pop and disappear right before her eyes like a giant soap bubble. But naturally, it wasn't. Not as long as she and Puck were wearing their spectacles. The magic spectacles. Yeah. Finally, doing what she thought magic spectacles ought to do. For Perfecta knew that what they were seeing were the secret wishes of the Perfect Acres people. Wishes, by the way, by the way everyone looked, that must have had they must have had since they were, yes, children. Because remember, we talked about this yesterday, y'all. Everybody you see, even the oldest person on the planet, was a child, a baby at once. Wishes that had somehow been forgotten or forbidden and then lost forever when the people came to live in Perfect Acres Inc. Was this then the part of everyone that was barely betwixt and between? Perfecta says softly to herself. Imagine poor dusty Miss Hopper wanting to be a ballet dancer. Yes, girl, you can still be one, girl. And was it impossible to reason Miss Plipperton and Professor Button hadn't wanted the old house torn down was because they really liked it? Well, it was certain it certainly was clear that turned loose by their childhood wishes, they didn't mind at all talking to each other. Not one bit. But what really made Perfecta's heart jump and the nicest kind of goosebumps rise on her arms was her own parents. It wasn't that her father had secret wishes to be a drummer or her mother to be a writer of fairy tales, but that they were rocking a wish baby Perfecta in the cradle. How could anyone want a baby if they thought it would turn into something nonsensical, impractical, and messy and dirty as well? No, Perfecta hadn't been a mistake. Ma'am, even though they wanted a baby, they may not have wanted you at that point.
Why you gotta burst the bubble?
Oh, you right. Y'all act like I didn't say that. Scott, act like I didn't say that. Perfecta, act like I didn't say that. Oreo Jr., act like I didn't say that. She had more than likely been a wonderful surprise. Mhm. She could hardly wait to run up to her mother and father and tell them that she knew matter for now it wouldn't matter if they saw her in her red and white striped pajamas outdoor in the middle of Perfect Acres Inc. They wouldn't mind at all. First, though, she must tell Puck all about the wonderful meaning of barely, betweenst, and between. Oh, Puck, she began happily, only to have what she was about to say freeze in her throat at the sound of some familiar and frightening voices approaching. Who do y'all think it is? Scott, who do you think it is? Who do y'all think it is out there?
Approaching Puck.
Frightening people approaching.
Frightening people.
Mhm.
Puck. The
And Perfecta.
5 little dudes. I don't know.
They are not frightening, they're stupid. There's a difference. Do you think Jason was stupid or frightening? Do you think Freddy Krueger was stupid or frightening? Okay. She was perfectly prepared, therefore, to have Puck say in a tight voice, "Our covers of the night, Per. Get them on quickly. Quickly." Following Puck's lead, Perfecta took his hand and threw on her covers, even though she wondered suddenly if they really needed to vanish. After all, wouldn't Mr. Snoot and the aunties be changed by magic spectacles as all the other people of Perfect Acres had been?
Well, I don't know. Could just be bad all along.
Some people are cloned. I feel like these three are. They test tube babies. Acting out their secret childhood wishes. But when the three arrived on the scene, they were their old familiar terrible selves. Perfecta now knew she had been right about Mr. Snoot all along. He had never been a child, nor it seems had aunties Glumper and Squint. Both aunties' face were masks of horror at the sight of the Perfect Acres Inc. people. What is the meaning of this behavior? Demanded Auntie Glumper. Acting like children, disgusting creatures that they are, snarled Auntie Squint. This chick a hater. Anybody else thinking Auntie Squint and Auntie Glumper are haters? As if they had been caught with their hands in a cookie jar, the Perfect Acres Inc. residents scrambled aside to make a wide path for the grim new arrivals. "Don't let them get away with this, Rupert," commanded Auntie Glumper. "Say something to them," hissed Auntie Squint. "All of you, you must stop this outrageous charade at once, or leave Perfect Acres Inc., Mr. Snoot roared, or at least tried to roar. For after howling for help all night at the zoo, his voice was so hoarse he could manage nothing better than a croak. And his appearance seemed to match his voice. He looked stooped and worn. His face was pale and smudged with dirt. The knees of his trousers were torn. Hay seemed to be sprouting from every part of his filthy clothes. Sir, so you brought your butt out there trying to tell these people what to do, and you didn't wash up and change first? You're nasty. You're nasty. His right arm still hung from a sling that was gray and tattered and probably funky too. I added that last part, but you. And his sore knees looked as if they could barely support him. I really mean it, croaked Mr. Snoot, his voice trailing off into a pathetic squeak. That's right, Drooper. You tell him. Mr. Snoot winced as the auntie dug him, one on each side, with their sharp elbows. A deadly silence fell over the street. Then a small, scared voice piped up. "We won't stop." It was the voice of Prince Button. And we won't leave," added the equally scared of Princess Plimpleton. Let me just pause right here and tell y'all what I'm observing. And y'all tell me if y'all agree or not. Scott, you too.
Okay.
There are a bunch of them, and there are three of Mr. Snoot and the aunties. There's three of them. I'll be like, "Sir, if you don't shut up, we gonna jump you." Period.
That's one way to go.
Period. I would have just been like, "Sir, shut up or get jumped."
All right.
Okay. And then you gonna leave. What say you, Scott? What say y'all? A murmur of voices spread across the crowd like a breeze across a forest of trees. Gradually, the breeze turned into a stormy, angry wind. Won't stop, hey, hey, won't leave, yes. Yeah, see, they about to jump him. Mr. Snoop began to look thoroughly scared and started bagging away. But Aunties Glumper and Squint looked at each or took him by the arm and held him fast. Oh no, okay. See, this is how we get people in trouble right here. You just tell them they can't get away with this, Drooper. Auntie Glumper's mouth was so pinched with rage that she might have been sucking on a green lemon. Okay, girl. Ugh. Auntie Squint gave Mr. Snoop's arm a furious shake. Tell them they'll have to change back to the way they were. Now speak up, Drooper. Speak up. The angry wind turned into a raging cyclone. You can't get away with this. You'll have to change back to the way you were, squeaked Mr. Snoop. We're not getting away with anything, someone shouted. We're just being us. They're trying to come out the closet with their costumes on, like I am. Just being me. You're the one who has to change, added three other outraged voices. The crowd took a menacing step towards Mr. Snoop, who looked as if he might collapse with fright. What am I going to do, Auntie Glumper? Help me, Auntie Squint. Help yourself, Drooper, screamed the two aunties. We've done all we can for you, and now you're on your own. So you just gonna leave this man and let him get jumped by himself? Good help is hard to find.
Yeah.
Then they dropped Mr. Snoop's arms and ran as fast as their mean, skinny little legs could carry them down the street. Mr. Snoop tried to follow them, but a burly circus strongman and two husky prints stepped in front of him at once, arms akimbo, glaring at him fiercely. His way was completely blocked. What am I going to do? Mr. Snoop moaned. Who is there left to help me? Flag on. Let me just pause for a second. Now y'all see how the aunties have consistently let this man just fail and frail. When can somebody tell me when this fool is gonna learn anything? Stop listening to these chicks. They set you up, sir. Back here. Let's get back here. Now, Mr. Snoop was hardly Perfector's favorite person in the whole world, but she actually felt sorry for him. I kind of do too. It was clear that he was in a dangerous position, yeah, because he about to get jumped, and she didn't want him hurt no matter how much she didn't like him. Puck, what are we going to do? We have to do something. What we have to do is take off these spectacles, Puck said. We have to get everyone back to the way they were. They began to try to pull and tug, and no matter how hard they tried, the spectacles refused to budge. Uh-oh. We saw a thing last night where some man wanted like his eyelids glued together with adhesive, and he wanted some super glue, some boot super glue to his feet. And I think maybe that's what happened to their glasses. What say you, Scott?
Maybe.
Okay. There are people that want that. Perfecta turned to plead with Mr. Barely Betwinks and Between, forgetting entirely that under her covers of the night she was invisible. But it didn't make any difference because the three white frocked gentlemen had vanished as well. All that faced her now was a bare brick wall. Suddenly she cried out, "Oh, Puck, what are you doing?" It wasn't so much what Puck was doing, but more what he had already done. He had pulled off his covers of the night and now stood face to face with Mr. Snoop. It's all right, he said softly. He's not the reason we're wearing our covers of the night. It's them, and they're gone. Them, of course, had to be Aunties Glumper and Squint. But Perfecta was wearing her cover to be invisible to Mr. Snoot, and she had no intention of taking it off, never mind what Puck did. Help me, help me. The stricken Mr. Snoot held out his hand to Puck. Help me, help me. Do I look like Mr. Snoot? Help me.
Yeah,
Help me, please.
you do.
Yeah. I'm a good actress. I'm going for an EGOT, a Emmy, a Grammy, a Oscar, and a Tony. With this look, I'm on my way. The stricken Mr. Snoot held out his hand to Puck. Then, though his legs wobble as if they were made of jelly, he somehow made his way between the circus strongman and the two husky princes and started to run down the street. His legs looked perilously close to giving away at any moment. 3 burly cowboys, how many people y'all got out there? And 6 more princes took off after him. We ought to help him, Perfecta cried, finally pulling off her own covers of the night. She really wasn't even thinking about the covers anymore. Mr. Snoot was in such terrible danger because he was about to get beat down, honey, by them people. They tired. Uncle Mai would know what to do if only he would come back. Uncle Mai! Uncle Mai! Puck sounded close to tears, but no Uncle Mai appeared. Didn't we already kind of have this conversation? Y'all remember when we talked about like this poor little boy? Puck stiffened his back. I think I'm going myself to try to rescue him. Well, I'm coming too, Perfecta announced. I don't want you to. I think I better go alone. No, I am coming. You can't. Puck's face was set. Then, before Perfecta knew what was happening, he opened the door they had come through earlier and pushed her through it. Great whiskers, please go. Meet me in the old house. I'll be back as soon as I can. As the door closed behind her, Perfecta could hear Puck calling desperately, Uncle Mai! Uncle Mai! Where are you? Does anybody else feel bad for this poor little boy? Because it's sad. Like, that's really sad. In the distance, Mr. Snoot's voice echoed faintly, Help me! Help me! It finally became all mixed up in Puck's voice crying, Uncle Mai! Uncle Mai! Please help us! Perfecta's mind began to spin. So much had happened so quickly. Now Puck was on the other side of the closed door needing help. And perhaps the secret of the old house was there as well. The secret. The secret. If she knew it, she could use it to help Puck. She had to go back there again, no matter what he said. She must. She started swiftly turning the doorknob and turning, but all it did was spin uselessly around and around in her hand, and the door remained tightly shut. So it seemed there was nothing left to do but what Puck had asked. She whirled around, darting into what she fully expected to be a huge room that held all the spectacles. Too late. She discovered that the room was no longer there. Instead, she was at the head of a long flight of narrow stairs. Her foot stepped out into a dark space. Girl, I would have been pissed. He ain't leave you with no flashlight or nothing. And the next thing she knew, she was tumbling down the stairs. See? Set you up for the okey doke, sis. Down, down, down. Perfecta closed her eyes as she rolled over and over. Down, down, down. And then, after what seemed like forever, thump, she hit the bottom. Cautiously, she opened her eyes. She found herself on the floor beside her bed in her own little room, with bright sunlight pouring in through the windows. We're going to stop right there. We got one more chapter and then Point Hard. No, I'm kidding. And then we'll finish it tomorrow and then Point Hard. Thriller, too.
Right.
Depends on what country you're in. Anyway, y'all know how we end these things. What stood out to you or what did you learn from this chapter? You guys put in the comment section. Scott, you go ahead and divulge.
Yeah, just I was thinking about like when they're wearing the glasses and looking around before things got crazy. Just like how it's interesting when you can pull back the veil. Like you know someone one way, or like just anybody, or like your parents or whatever. You like you know them as your parents, and you don't think of them as like a person or like a son or a daughter. So like you can see like a different side of them, or like as you grow up and become a parent, and then you see something like from your kid, and you react like a parent, but then you were doing the same thing as a kid. I don't know if it makes sense, but
Yeah, it's interesting to see people in their multiple roles. It's kind of like seeing your coworkers outside of work,
yeah.
where they're professional, and then outside of work, you like, oh, honey, you be twerking and drinking like that? Oh no, kind of thing. So no, I get what you're saying. The thing that stood out to me is the things that you repress the most, when they finally explode out, baby, it explodes out. So you see how those people have repressed who they really were. They wanted to be knights and princesses and circus people and all kinds of stuff. And finally, when they got the opportunity to express themselves, when Mr. Snoot and the aunties came and tried to put it back in, they was like, we gonna jump you, sir, ma'am, whoever. So I think it's important to have a little bit of balance. I think balance is important, so you don't go over the top and be ready to jump people and beat them down when you get a little come out. I think it's important to definitely, have your professional self, but also have your authentic self. So I think that's kind of the barely, the betwixt and the between is what they're talking about, that balance of self. So yeah, the barely is you totally ignore it. The betwixt is the balance, and the between is, I guess, the balance. So I don't know what the betwixt is. So yeah, so that's what I think.
Okay.
That's what I think this chapter was about. But again, that's what stood out, and that's what I got from it. So
Cool.
okay, guys. Well, with that, we're going to end. This kind of went a little long, but we're going to end this live, and then we'll be back tomorrow with hopefully the end of it. I think y'all will be pleasantly surprised with how it ends. But in the meantime, in between time, we're going to bid you adieu. We're going to be back with It's a Super Scary Saturday Sleepover. We got this a book, which is going to be quite interesting because it's scary stories from all around the world. So give me about 30 minutes and we will be back to get that on. So with that, let me grab Oreo Jr. As always, guys, we are always excited to have you, and we hope that you are excited to have us. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, check out some other videos, live shorts, all that good stuff, honey. If you want to, we're a little weird over here. Maybe you can't handle it. Anyway, so with that, we're going to bid you guys adieu. So from wherever we are, even if we, are having a dream that turned into a nightmare, okay, in the upside down with a bunch of old people who had to repress themselves and they finally got to set themselves free and they want to beat up anybody that want to stop them from being themselves. To wherever you guys are, peace, love, and happiness. And we'll see you guys in like 30 minutes. Bye, y'all.
Bye.